When you stand in front of the 2026 Cadillac V16, the first thing you understand is that this car isn't trying to compete for attention. It already knows who it is. The design doesn't shout, it asserts. Long, confident lines stretch from front to rear like a well-tailored suit, not fashionable for the season but timeless by intention. The grille is upright and unapologetic, the proportions are deliberate, and the stance tells you this car was built to move at speed without ever needing to prove it. This is American luxury returning to its original definition: presence before noise, slide inside, and the mood changes from commanding to calming. The cabin isn't designed to impress you in the first 10 seconds, it's designed to earn your respect over 10 years. Real materials meet you where your hands actually rest. Stitched leather, solid metal controls, wood that feels chosen rather than sourced. There's space to breathe here. You can imagine long highway drives where the outside world fades away, where road noise is reduced to a distant whisper, and where time feels slower in the best possible way. This is the kind of interior that makes traffic feel less like a problem and more like a pause. Turn the key or press the button, and the V16 wakes up with restraint. 16 cylinders carry a reputation for drama, but Cadillac understands maturity. The power delivery is smooth, almost effortless, the kind that doesn't surge so much as it gathers momentum. On a long on-ramp, the acceleration doesn't surprise you, it reassures you. Passing slower traffic happens without planning, without tension. At highway speeds, the engine barely announces itself, operating at low stress, which historically is one of the reasons large displacement engines last as long as they do. There's data behind that calm. Lower RPM cruising, reduced thermal strain, and fewer moments where the engine feels like it's working too hard. What matters in real life isn't the top speed you'll never reach, but how the car behaves on an ordinary day. In the Cadillac V16, city driving feels composed, not clumsy. Adaptive suspension reads broken pavement before you register it, smoothing potholes and uneven roads into something manageable. On long trips, fatigue fades into the background. Seats support without squeezing, climate control responds intelligently instead of aggressively, and the car seems to understand that comfort is about consistency, not excess. Technology here feels purposeful. The screens are large, clear, and positioned where your eyes naturally go, not where designers thought they'd look good in photos. Driver assistance systems operate quietly, stepping in only when needed. Lane keeping doesn't fight you. Adaptive cruise feels predictive rather than reactive, and the car gives you confidence without taking control away from you. Over-the-air updates future-proof the experience, meaning ownership improves over time instead of aging out of relevance. And that's where the value conversation becomes real. This isn't about price tags alone, it's about what the car gives you over years of ownership. Cadillac understands that true luxury reduces mental load. Fewer compromises, fewer annoyances, less effort. The V16 isn't for people chasing trends, it's for people who've already learned that quality reveals itself slowly. Historically, Cadillac's flagship models have held strong resale value when they represent a clear identity. And this car does exactly that by leaning into confidence instead of imitation. The 2026 Cadillac V16 matters because it reminds us that luxury doesn't need to be frantic, futuristic for the sake of it, or endlessly complex. It can be powerful without being aggressive, advanced without being exhausting, and expensive without feeling indulgent. This car is for someone who values quiet strength, who understands that the best decisions don't need approval, and who wants a machine that reflects a settled sense of success rather than an ongoing search for it. In a world rushing forward, the Cadillac V16 moves deliberately, and that, more than anything, is its real power. Because when you live with a car like this, you start noticing the difference in ways no brochure ever explains. You notice it early in the morning when the cabin warms evenly instead of blasting heat at your face. You notice it late at night, when the headlights don't just illuminate the road but reduce eye strain mile after mile. You notice it when the doors close with a measured weight, the kind of sound that tells you engineering was prioritized over theatrics. These are small things, but they compound over time. and ownership is nothing more than the accumulation of small experiences. On real roads, the V16 reveals its deeper logic. The steering isn't razor-sharp because it doesn't need to be. It's accurate, stable, and predictable, which matters more when you're covering hundreds of miles in a day. Crosswinds don't unsettle it. Rough pavement doesn't demand correction. The car tracks straight, calm, and confident, allowing you to focus on the drive instead of managing the machine. That's not an accident. It's the result of chassis tuning aimed at stability first, not lap times. Fuel consumption inevitably enters the conversation, and Cadillac doesn't pretend physics doesn't exist. But what the V16 offers is efficiency through ease. At cruising speeds, cylinder deactivation and intelligent gearing reduce unnecessary burn, and owners who actually drive these cars the way they're designed, long distances, steady speeds, often see numbers that surprise them. More importantly, the engine is rarely stressed, which translates to longevity, smoother operation, and fewer dramatic maintenance moments. For buyers at this level, predictability matters more than bragging rights. Maintenance, too, has been thought through with a sense of realism. Cadillac's flagship buyers expect support, not excuses. Service intervals are clearly defined, dealer networks are extensive, and parts availability is planned years ahead. This isn't a car you worry about living with. It's one you integrate into your life. That confidence is part of the value, even if it never appears on a spec sheet. There's also something culturally important happening here. The Cadillac V16 isn't trying to mimic European restraint or tech-forward minimalism. It carries an American interpretation of luxury, generous space, mechanical confidence, and comfort that doesn't apologize for itself. It respects heritage without being trapped by it. You can feel that balance in the way the car moves, in the way it treats its passengers, and in the way it refuses to rush you. By the time you step out after a long drive, you're not energized or drained, you're settled. That's the real test. The 2026 Cadillac V16 doesn't demand attention after the drive because it never demanded it during the drive. It did its job quietly, thoroughly, and with a kind of assurance that's becoming rare. This car isn't a statement piece, it's a decision made by someone who understands that true luxury isn't about proving you've arrived, it's about knowing you already have,